Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel, Kelly's Crazy Disney Addiction. We're going to start our video today by showing you the items that we need in order to complete this project. You will need 4 of these, and as you can see I have 4 already pre-cut out. And then you will need 4 of these that you will cut from your fabric. You will need your fabric, some ribbon, your scissors, a glue gun, and we're going to go ahead and get started on cutting out the pattern for our ears. So I start by drawing out my pattern on the fabric, and I'm making 4 of these. Now when you cut these out, you don't have to be perfect. These are going to wrap around the cardboard pieces, so you're not going to see any jagged lines or such. So I'm just going to use my rotary cutter to cut out this portion of the fabric, and then I will use my rotary cutter just to kind of cut around close to the lines without worrying too much about where those lines are going to line up. Now the one thing that I will tell you is that I would leave a little bit more fabric than what I did around that bottom curve, because that is where you're going to fold over your fabric after you place your stuffing inside. So as you can see, I'm not being very precise about these. I know that they're going to be tucked under. So now that I have my 4, I'm going to go ahead and start hot gluing these to my forms. Here is where I suggest you use finger coverings, because this glue can get very hot, and I have had some pretty bad burns from these. It can be a little bit more difficult to put everything where you want it. I tend to go back and forth with the finger coverings because sometimes I feel like I have more issues getting everything straight and laid down with them. So I'll go back and forth, taking them on and putting them off, putting them on, taking them off. So as you can see here, I'm kind of just fixing it so that I don't want to have any really big points or really big noticeable areas. And now I'm just going to fluff my stuffing and start stuffing it inside. You can put as much stuffing or as little as you want in these. I like to stuff my ears pretty full. And I made the mistake on these ears of using cardboard that was a little bit too thin. So you'll probably be able to see here where the cardboard is kind of bending a little bit on the back side. That's okay. I'm going to be gluing it to the back side of another ear, so it will be all right. Next time I will make sure I use thicker cardboard though. And now we're just going to repeat that process for all 4 ears. Fluff your stuffing, put it into the ear. The stuffing that I use for my ears is called, I'm going to tell you exactly what it is. It is called Polyfill Royal Silk. It's a luxury down alternative fiber fill. And I believe the last time I got it off of Amazon. I also get my headbands off of Amazon. And I don't have one of the wrappers for those right now, so unfortunately I cannot tell you the exact name of the headbands. I will try to remember to put it down in my description below for you. So as you can see, I've glued the ears together, the 2 sides together here, and I'm just making sure that the hot glue dries and that holds together well. Then I'm just kind of going around any place where I feel like it's it's not connected well enough, and gluing that area down a little bit better. Remember, you're going to be putting a ribbon around the edges of this, so again, it doesn't have to be perfect because your imperfections are going to be hidden by the ribbon that you put on. And now we're going to do the exact same thing for the other two sides of our ears so we can make our next full ear. And once we get these ears done, we're going to go ahead and stuff them just like we did our other two as well. Here I just trimmed it a little bit because I felt like it was a little bit too much on the inside. I didn't want it to look bulky. I'm trying to stuff it. And then I simply pull over the bottom and glue it in order to seal that stuffing in. And one more time with the stuffing. Again, here you can see where it is bent right there in the middle, but I'm going to glue them together. So once I get them glued together, you will see that they stick together very well. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to use some clamps. I find that using clamps helps the ear to stick better, because I'm not able to hold down all of the sides at once. So this helps the edges to stick and stay down the way that I want them to. And these are clamps that I got at Dollar Tree. I think I ended up buying 2 or 3 sets of them. I also have some bigger ones as well. And there we have our ears. And now we are going to go ahead and line them around the outside. And as you can see, once you do this, it covers up any imperfections that you might have. And doing this again to the other ear. And then we will, once we get this done, we will make a decision as to where our placement on our ears, on our headband. Or actually, let me correct myself. We will actually line the headband with the same fabric that we are using for our ears. Once we are done with this part, so that we can start gluing our ears to our headband. Okay, so our ears are complete, and now we have to make our headband. I always like to line my headband because I feel like it sits on the head better and it's much more comfortable to wear rather than just having that thin headband on your head. And all I do is I use the headband itself and I will roll it along the fabric, and I will cut the fabric at the length of the headband, as you can see there that I'm doing. So I just stick one into the fabric down, and then I start rolling it the other way. There's my end of my fabric, and then I glue the other end down. And then I will usually start from the middle and start laying down the fabric here. I start on one side and lay it down until I get to the close to the end, and then at the end I will cut it down to size so that I don't have too much overlapping fabric. Sorry, I'm out of frame here, but all I'm doing is cutting down that fabric so that there's not too much fabric overlapping there. I don't want it to bunch up, so that's why I cut it down. And here I am just finishing that last side and moving to the next. I think this is actually the hardest part of making the ears. And especially with this type of fabric, because it doesn't tend to lay down as easily. And it's actually quite, I don't know, it flops over a lot more than your regular cotton fabric. It's not quite as sturdy. So this was a little bit harder than what I would normally have. This is where these finger guards really come in handy. You can see we're almost there. The last side of the headband and fabric. And then we will use some trim to line the inside as well. Here is the trim that I use. I picked this up at Hobby Lobby on sale of some sort. I want to say it was like a 50% off sale. I do use a lighter to burn the edges to make sure that it doesn't unravel. It does help. And then I curl over the edge just a bit for the ends. And so I just lay this over the top of my seam from where I have wrapped the headband with the velvet fabric. And again on the end, I will clip, burn, and tuck under the ribbon in order to make it look finished. And now our headband is complete. Now we're going to figure out where the placement of our ears are going to go. And we will hot glue those. I usually start with the first ear and hold that there for a little bit. and it's going to be wobbly until I put my ribbon around the edge there. Right now I'm just making sure it's glued well, and then we do the other ear as well the same way. I try to make sure that I've got room for my bow, and then I hold it there for a period of time while the glue dries. And now we're going to put our ribbon around the edges of our ear. I tried burning the edge of this ribbon the same way that I did the ribbon for the headband. Didn't work the same way. This ribbon does not burn well. Well, actually, I should say it burns very well. Caught it on fire for a minute there. So I end up just kind of tucking them in here. And this inner portion, the reason that I bring it to the inner area is because this is going to be covered by the bow. So you're not really going to see this area. You'd have to really be trying to look for it in order to know that it's even there. And same thing with the other ear. Just wrapping that ribbon around the bottom of the ear. And a little hint, if you happen to get some glue where you don't want it, you can wipe off the tip of your glue gun and rub it over the top of that glue. It will melt that glue down and you will not be able to see that it was there. Now we're going to make our bow. I am using the same fabric that I used for the ears here. And I wanted to do something a little bit different. So I decided to try to stuff this fabric. So what I do is I'm finding the centers on the fabric and I turn it in. I tried a couple of different ways but the fabric is so floppy that you couldn't really just make a bow with it. So what I decided to do was to glue it down the center with each seam and then stuff each side so that it had a seam down the middle of it. This is the first time I've done it this way. I'm still not sure that I really care for it that much. I just wanted it to have something different. So here you're going to see me start to stuff it with some of my stuffing. I tried, again, fixing it so that I didn't have to stuff it, but the fabric, again, just wouldn't work that way. So I am going to stuff it, and therefore I have to stuff both sides of this bow. So it's going to end up looking like two long tubes connected together. And I just used a pencil to make sure that it got all the way stuffed down to the center. I am not the best at bow making yet. I'm still learning bows. And then once I have this bow completed, I fold it to the middle and I glue the bow to the middle area, which you will see here. So there I'm finding my middle again, sealing the edge, and then I'm going to fold it to the center of my bow and glue it down. And then I will repeat that for the other side of the bow. And then I will use the same fabric again, and I'm going to make a centerpiece for the bow that will wrap around the bow and kind of hold it into place. Once we get this side completely down, here is our centerpiece. I'm just using that leftover scrap. And the bow was too big, so I cut it down some and re-glue it. You just have to play with it until you get it the way that you like it. Sometimes we have to start over. And then we wrap our centerpiece. I decided that the first centerpiece wasn't quite long enough, so I made a second one. Just trying to get it somewhat straight. And then I just wrap it around. I always try to make sure that I'm gluing it on the bottom of the bow, because that part's going to be attached to the headband, and it is not going to be seen once I complete the bow. Here I am just playing with the bow, just trying to get it to be to where I like it. I'm sorry, I'm out of frame here. I'm just tacking down that centerpiece and cutting off the end piece that was left over. And then I found some edges that I didn't like from that centerpiece and restarted it. And now I think I'm finally going to put this bow on. I'm telling you, this bow was the bane of my existence on this set of ears. I could not get it the way I liked it. And even when I was done, I still wasn't overly happy with it. But it works, and I think it completed the set of ears. And the person I gave them to seemed to enjoy them, so I hope she really enjoyed those. And by now you'll probably know that these ears went to Tony of the SisketEars, who I gave them to for one of our Year of the Ear. It was our April Silver and Gold. theme. And I truly do hope that she loves the way these ears turned out. I tried to make them elegant. I tried to make the bow a little bit different. Like I said, I'm still not super happy with it, but I believe they turned out okay. Let me know what you think of these ears. Also, don't forget to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and don't forget to ring that bell so that you get notifications of the next video that I put out. Thank you. Like, share, follow. I greatly appreciate it. Love you all. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.